Hi there, it's Vic Highland. Just adding to the videos about teaching, and this one is about advertising yourself. There was something that came up on a thread, sort of Facebook thread, about using flyers and leaflets, and it got me thinking about what it is about advertising that works and what doesn't. And often what happens with things is people take an idea like using flyers, and because they have a bad experience about using them, suddenly the actual fact that it's a flyer is the thing is problematic. But of course, same with any form of advertising, it's not the actual vehicle, the advertising itself. It's the message that's the important aspect. So for instance, if that flyer was not directed at the right target group, or there wasn't anything on there that made it compelling, you're not going to get a response. By the same token, if a flyer actually said that there was a free bottle of wine available to everybody who responded to this advert, then the response would be probably significant. So it's actually got nothing to do with the flyer, but everything to do with the message, and also everything to do with the target of the message. Because again, if you were using the same analogy as the bottle of wine, if that was directed at the a temperance movement, people who are teetotal, then you wouldn't get a response. So let's have a look at what it is that makes a message compelling, and how we can direct the message at the right target group. First of all, you've got to have an offer that has a time involvement, a stipulation in it. Otherwise, you will get the thing of the leaflet not being responded to. So there's definitely something that needs to be there, like within the next 2 weeks, or by a particular date. Here is an offer which you need to respond to. That's the first thing. Otherwise, people don't act on it. Next thing is the offer needs to be compelling. So either you work on a price thing, and it's not really a price to you, it's a price to them. So to give a good example, if you're teaching and you offered a group of lessons, so let's say it's £100, that's probably within the bounds of a good present from somebody. Then you could do them as a group lesson. That doesn't change the offer as far as the person who's responding to it, because it's £100. But of course, if you put that together with somebody else, then you could be earning a good amount per hour, or per half hour, whatever it is that you're doing. But it seems attractive to the person who's receiving the offer. So that's an important thing. And that's sort of very similar to the idea about referrals. Often people sort of do a referral and offer a free guitar lesson. Well, that's got no monetary value, particularly if the person that you're giving it to is a child or a teenager, and their parents are paying for the lessons. So the incentive doesn't lie with the child, who probably actually has got a lot of contacts. But something financial does, and obviously you have to speak to the parents about that. But it's the same principle as when you're advertising something. It has got to have real impact, financially or otherwise, for the person who's receiving it. And then I would say that the next thing you need to do is have something definitive about what it is that you're offering. So I've done a number of campaigns where it's been they can actually learn to play within a particular period of time. Now, okay, I use a lot of NLP stuff, but you could certainly say, it's difficult to say up to grade 1 because people won't know what that means. But you can have a set of ideas that they will be able to accomplish within a period of time. And then the other classic one is some sort of guarantee. Now, you can do this as you want. I actually do a money-back guarantee on some of mine, which is that they'll be able to do these things or they can have their money back. And obviously, being able to play certain pieces of music and acquire certain skills, that they're going to be able to do that. But then, as a novice, they won't realise that they're going to achieve that thing. But you're selling what you can do, so that's worth considering. So anyway, that holds for any form of advertising, and for flyers, really, the fact that they are flyers means that you can hand them out. That's the only difference, but that would also apply to anything, whether it was a business card or any other form of giving somebody information, even a website. So try those things out. Don't give up on the flyers because they can work very well. It's just that there's a tendency, because there are lots of bits of paper, for people to give them away in such a way that they don't have any response. So that, try those out for your advertising. Obviously linking things to websites, which is something that I do quite a lot now, whereas you can put a lot of information on a web page that gives people detail about what it is that you do. You just need a way of baiting it to hook them in, and flyers are good for that. Obviously the stuff about artwork, they need to be catchy enough, but even so, I've seen some flyers that have been highly effective that really aren't that eye-catching, but they have something on there, a message that's really powerful. Try those out. Something that was mentioned to me over an interview that I was doing for a podcast, which is something I said years ago, and you sort of reminded me of it. Sometimes your competition is not the best place to go for good ideas. It's actually businesses that do something similar to you. And one of the things that I always use as a good sort of template is alternative therapies, because they're actually dealing with a very similar market to you. It's people that have got a need for something, and they've got available income to do that, and the time, and a desire probably. So yeah, people who do hypnotherapy, massage, even things like nail bars, anything where they're dealing with people who don't necessarily have to have that, but they choose to. And look at how they advertise. And if they're very successful, it's worth copying some of their ideas. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.